the 2-2. Well hit down the left field line. Way back and gone! Joe Carter with a 3-run homer.
And as they said on radio, as Tom Cheek so memorably called, touch 'em all, Joe. The memories of the 1993 World Series, the Toronto Blue Jays winning back-to-back championships. You'll probably, if you're old enough, you'll know exactly where you were that night. My next guest certainly does. He was right there on the field, celebrating. Rob Butler, 23 years old at the time, played 17 regulation games with the Jays. But what great timing, because there he was as part of the team, the only Canadian member of that team, and to this day, the only Canadian to have a World Series ring, which he still has, I know, because Rob Butler is on the phone from home in Whitby, Ontario. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Well, happy to talk to you today. Where is that World Series ring?
Well, right now it's on my fireplace. I look at it every day and wish for the days when it used to fit.
It doesn't fit anymore. That's okay. It's a heck of a trophy. And may there be more World Series rings to Toronto Blue Jays players in the near future. But let's talk about today. You've been there, Rob. You know what it feels like to wake up. We're looking at about 7:40 Eastern. Maybe the Jays players are starting to wake up on the morning of Game 5. What does that feel like when you wake up?
Well, I can tell they're very excited. I know back when, I was only a young rookie at the time. And I don't think I slept for the 2 weeks that the playoffs was going on when I was playing. The year before, I was a fan, which is funny because I was only an A-ball, and I couldn't sleep for the 2 weeks as well. So I've been lucky to have it on both sides as a fan and as a player. So I know they cannot wait for this game to get going because they got to get the nerves out of the way and get the game going.
So do you think the eyelids don't pop wide open and the pressure isn't the first thing that comes to mind? You think that they're able to get that, beyond right first thing in the morning?
Oh, yeah. The first two games, you can kind of see that raw emotion that they had. A lot of them were new to the playoffs. And one thing for me, I saw the guys that I played with, they were always professional. These guys had been there before. And after the first two games, they look like professionals again, and they're ready to come on and win it all.
Okay. Yeah, it certainly looked like the nerves were still at play in games 1 and 2, but it was a totally different team away. So here they come back today to play at home. So that dynamic, every game in this series so far, Rob, as you will know, has been won by the away team. Now they got to win at home. Talk about that.
Well, it's definitely easier to play on the road in the playoffs because the raw emotion of the fans is so intense when you're playing at home. It actually brings you to a level that you're not used to. So I think it's just easier to play on the road. But, I think they have the right guy in the mound tonight. Stroman is a guy who feeds off that kind of emotion. He loves the energy. He's very, very confident in himself, and I think that's exactly the guy they need tonight.
I was going to ask you that. What do you think of the John Gibbons decision to go with him? It sounds like you think it was the right one.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're in the playoffs, you have to pull out all the stops. You got to use guys when you least expect to use them because you have to win. So tonight's the night where it's his chance to show that he can really set the stage on the big stage and pull through when the team needs him the most.
So that's interesting. The talk today, game day, is still swirling around whether it was the right decision to pull R.A. Dickey early in Game 4 and put in David Price, meaning that he's certainly not getting the start, probably not going to be involved in Game 5. Did that surprise you or make you, pause, give you second thoughts?
Well, I think that when you're managing in the playoffs and things happen in the earlier games, it kind of makes you pull the trigger a little faster than what you normally would. The Game 2 situation when he didn't pull Cecil out when the Texas Rangers brought that pinch hitter in,
yes.
I think that played on his mind. I don't think he wanted to make that second-guess decision again. He wanted to go with his gut right away, and it worked out because we have Game 5.
Yeah, here we are. You're right. Absolutely right. What was the exact wording? Don't count on it. Don't count on seeing David Price at any point in the game. What do you think?
I don't think that's true at all. I think we can count on seeing Santa Claus pitch if we need him to win this game.
Could be, and it got Estrada's there as well. Lots to go to in the event of an emergency, but hopefully it'll be one of those big games where where the runs are coming in early and give the team a nice cushion. What players are you going to be watching for as being key, do you think, in this game?
Oh, definitely the leadoff guy, Ben Revere. He's my favorite player.
Okay.
Definitely the table setter. Him getting on base is the key for Donaldson and Bautista and Encarnacion to relax, to not feel like they have to do too much and hit a home run to win it. They just need to hit those singles and doubles and keep the train rolling, and they'll score a lot of runs.
So watch for Ben Revere, and you didn't even mention the big three, any of the big three. What do you think about their hitting today?
Well, as long as they stay within themselves and do what they have always done all year, I don't think they actually try to hit home runs. I think the home runs are always by accident, and I think they need to go back to that where they're not trying to do too much. Because one thing Paul Malter did in the ninth inning of the World Series, before Joe Carter hit the home run, was he said, "I did not try to hit a home run. I wanted Joe to be the guy to win us the game."
Isn't that interesting? So, I'm talking to you, and it's fun to talk to you on all sorts of levels, but one is because, of course, your Canadian connection to a World Series winning team, only one in this country. When you were such a rarity when you were playing for the Jays, but if you go through all the MLB roster, I mean, there's even on the Jays, you have Dalton Pompey, you've got Russell Martin, you go beyond Michael Saunders, you got Jeff Francis, you got Brett Laurie elsewhere, but formerly on the team. Contrary to what Fox announcers might think, we can play some good baseball here.
Oh, well, that's been going back since the Stone Ages, the Americans thinking Canadians can't do any baseball. I think in the early 80s, it started to change a little bit, and my brother and I, when we came up in the early 90s, it definitely helped scouts come to Canada to watch the Canadians play. They definitely realized that there was players up here, Larry Walker and
For sure.
David Wainhouse. I mean, I definitely think we paved the way for these new guys to come in and show that they're great players.
Well, listen, you enjoy this as a fan and a spectator today. You know the history. I know, Rob, I think it's two other team. They'd be the third team to come back from a 2-0 deficit to win the division title. That's a lot to overcome. What do you think? Give me a final score and give me what you think the outcome of today will be.
Well, I definitely think the Jays are going to win.
Okay.
I do remember a 14-9 game in the 8th inning, and everybody went to bed, and we came back and won 15-14 in one inning. So winning tonight's game shouldn't be a problem.
I love it. Great note on which to leave it. Thank you so much, Rob. Great to speak to you this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Rob Butler, member of the 1993 World Series winning Blue Jays, only Canadian to be there, from Whitby, Ontario this morning.